Drinking water is important. In fact, it's vital, because without it, you'd last a few days before, well, death. You probably know that already, but what would happen if instead of going without water, we did the complete opposite and drank way too much of it? For years now, we've all heard the same advice. Make sure to stay hydrated, especially during a heat wave. But is it really a good idea to chug down more liters than your body actually needs? Hey, Gustave, you're always up for a challenge, right? Just so you know, this is nothing like what I've put you through before. We're not talking about sending you into a tornado, fighting dinosaurs, or locking you in a sauna for hours on end. So, you sure you're not finding this experiment a little too easy? Perfect, looks like we're ready to go. Will our guinea pig end up purified or seriously sick? Is this smart or totally reckless? Let's find out right now as we answer today's big question. Drinking 10 liters of water, what's it like? It's been about a half hour since Gustave downed his first 1.5 liters of water, and he is already starting to feel a bit uncomfortable. His bladder is about to burst, but don't worry, champ, since we're nice, you're allowed to go to the bathroom. And I say we're being nice because there's actually an even crueler version of this challenge where going to the bathroom is strictly forbidden. Back in 2007, an American woman named Jennifer Strange paid the price for that exact scenario. She was taking part in a ridiculous contest run by a California radio station, and the rules were simple. Drink as much as possible without peeing, all for the chance to win a Nintendo Wii, which at the time was the brand new console everyone wanted. Whoever could resist the call of nature the longest would be the winner. Torture? Yeah, you could definitely call it that. I'll come back to Jennifer's story throughout this video since it is a pretty grim real-life example of what we're testing here. As for Gustave, after this much water, there's not much to report just yet, but you'll see. Things are going to go downhill pretty fast. Our guinea pig has already downed his 3rd liter of water in less than an hour. And that much water that fast is already starting to cause trouble. See, the kidneys can't flush out much more than about 1 liter per hour, so the liquid starts to build up in Gustave's body. Sure, he doesn't feel like going to the bathroom anymore, but honestly, that's a bad sign. On top of that, he's starting to feel like throwing up. Normally, most of you watching this video have probably never drunk so much that you have reached this point, unless you suffer from certain mental health conditions. For example, some people with schizophrenia develop what's called polydipsia, which is a compulsive urge to drink water until you vomit. It can also happen with amateur marathon runners who think they need to drink 10 liters during a race, which is of course totally wrong. Other situations where people drink this much? Hazing rituals and stupid dares. And well, I guess today's experiment definitely falls into the stupid dare category, but hey, we're doing it for science. Hey Gustave, you're doing okay? Did you puke?
No.
It's not necessarily a good thing, because if you don't throw it up, the water can't get out. Not through the top and not through the bottom either, since the kidneys are already maxed out. And that's when things really start to go downhill. Gustave is now on his 5th liter of water, and it's not looking good. He's got a pounding headache, and believe it or not, he's just lost vision in one eye. Sounds exaggerated? Actually, no. This is exactly what happened to Jennifer, the woman I mentioned earlier. So where do such extreme symptoms come from? From a chemical you consume every single day, sodium, or more simply, salt. In our blood, salt levels are normally kept stable at about 135 millimoles per liter. The problem with drinking too much water is that your blood volume shoots up, which automatically dilutes the salt concentration. It's like when you mix alcohol with soda for a cocktail. The more soda you add, the weaker the drink becomes. Same in your bloodstream. The more water, the less concentrated the salt. And when salt levels drop too low, things get seriously messy. Doctors even have a name for it: hyponatremia or water intoxication. Sorry, Gustave, I see you're scared, but you still got more water to drink. Here, have a few extra liters. Gustave is now on his 8th liter of water, and Gustave, what's happening to you? Oh, he's convulsing. Are you surprised? Well, you shouldn't be. Drinking too much water can actually trigger epileptic seizures. Oof, I won't lie, the situation is getting critical now. We're talking about serious neurological damage. The reason? Once again, it all comes back to salt. Normally, salt levels are balanced between our blood and our cells. The concentration is supposed to be uniform everywhere. But Gustave has just thrown this balance out of whack. The salt level in his blood has dropped, while inside his cells it hasn't changed. In other words, his cells are salty, but his blood isn't. To fix this imbalance, the body tries to push water into the cells, which then swell and swell and swell. And of course, this includes the cells in his brain. The result? His brain itself starts to swell. This is what doctors call cerebral edema. So would giving Gustave a bunch of salt stop the problem? Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Flooding his body with salt all at once could cause severe brain damage. At this point, things are looking pretty grim. But hey, might as well go all in, right? Here, Gustave, have another dozen glasses of water. Come on, Gustave, you promised you wouldn't chicken out. And judging by how your brain is swimming right now, you've definitely kept your word. Well, there we go. Gustave managed to down all 10 liters of water. Now all that's left to do is to see what happens. This time, it's just a matter of hours. The cerebral edema keeps getting worse, just like what happened to poor Jennifer at the end of her water drinking contest. No one realized how serious her condition was, least of all the organizers who said, and I quote, "Well, since the body is 98% water, drinking more can't be dangerous." Of course, that's completely wrong. The human body is about 60% water, and drinking too much of it is undeniably dangerous. After the contest, Jennifer went home instead of going to the hospital. Her husband suggested she lie down, then kept an eye on her while she slept. But she wasn't sleeping at all. She had actually slipped into a coma. And I can see Gustave right now starting to do the same thing. Yeah, this challenge has taken a very dark turn. Some of Gustave's brain cells have swollen so much that they've literally burst. The damage is now irreversible, but that's not even the worst part. His intracranial pressure is so high that his brainstem is getting crushed. And that's bad news because the brainstem is the part that controls vital functions like breathing and heartbeat. I won't sugarcoat it, Gustave is taking his final breaths, exactly like Jennifer, who died the very same way in 2007, just 5 hours after the contest. Rest in peace to both of them. To wrap up Jennifer's story, you're probably wondering if she at least won the Nintendo Wii. Well, no, not even that. Unsurprisingly, the whole thing led to a massive trial at the time. The radio station fired several employees connected to the contest, and after the verdict, her family was awarded more than $16.5 million in damages for wrongful death. Of course, no amount of money or punishment can ever make up for the loss of a human life. In any case, her death, just like Gustave's, could have been avoided if only they added some minerals to the water she was drinking, kind of like the special electrolyte drinks marathon runners use to keep their fluid balance in check. Then again, the whole thing also could have been avoided by simply drinking less in the first place. Still, there are times when athletes do need to drink a lot of water, and it's not always clear where to draw the line. Luckily, I've got a tip for you sporty types. Weigh yourself before and after training. If you've lost weight, it means you didn't drink enough. If you gained weight, it means you took in more water than your body managed to sweat or pee out, and that's not good either. So be careful if you don't want to end up on the growing list of hyponatremia cases. Believe it or not, at least 1,600 cases have been reported worldwide in the past few decades, including Cynthia Lucero, who died in the Boston Marathon in 2002, as well as Kelly Barrett and Hilary Bellamy. Yeah, it tends to happen more often to women, but especially to beginners. Since the slower you are, the more time you have to drink. Makes sense, right? And beyond sports, there's also the hazing cases, like the veterinary student in 2013 who ended up in a coma after being forced to drink liter after liter of water. As you've probably gathered by now, just like with so many other things, alcohol, sugar, salt, it's really the amount that makes it dangerous. Staying hydrated is very important, absolutely vital, especially in extreme heat. But downing too many liters in too short a time can be deadly. That's why we put Gustave through this experiment because, unlike you, I can bring him back from the dead. Unfortunately, that trick doesn't work for you, so don't do anything stupid, and if anyone ever challenges you to a bet this ridiculous, just say no.